You are listening to the Shmooze!
Hey, welcome to the Shmooze! So today we are going to talk about a topic that is actually on our.
What's the noise?
It's the water. It's the water. It's the water.
Start again? No?
Yeah.
Okay. So, before we go into it, I want to say thank you to all of you who ring the bell to get our content first time we publish it. People who liked us, people who wrote a comment. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And continue doing it.
Yeah, we want this channel to rise and inspire people and make their day fun, just
and
listening
lighter.
to us.
Yeah, that's what it does for us, and that's what we hope it does for you too. So continue to listen, continue to subscribe, and comment.
Yeah,
and we're here.
So what are we going to talk about today?
Oh my gosh, today it's going to be, I mean, it's for me, it's a heavy topic, but today we're talking about the Golden Girls and dealing with aging parents. And getting older ourselves, right? I'm seeing, when we were kids, our parents took care of us and they took care of all of our needs, our clothing, our feeding, everything was taken care of by our parents. And slowly, I'm seeing the wheel turn. Right. And now, it's coming to a point where we are going to start doing that for our parents. It's a little scary. Yeah. Like all of a sudden you have to be that grown up person and you have to take responsibility, you have to take decisions. I'm seeing it with my grandparents. Thank God I still have 2 grandparents. Wow, that's amazing. It's amazing, it really is. But like the care for them is, all of a sudden, people have to make decisions for grown up people. Right. What to wear, what they eat, how much, what to spend. Right. It's hard. It's hard. I know you've been dealing with that for a bit. Yeah. Do you want to talk about it? Okay. Definitely been dealing with that on the side of my father-in-law. And he's 92, almost 93. Wow. And my mother-in-law was his main caretaker for ages. And he's been with dementia for a long time. And during the summer, I realized that she was really it was just too much for her. So I just took her out of that situation. I said, after you're coming to us. She had a great time. She had a really nice time. It was like a vacation. Yeah, we went to the beach, we went to the pool, we went all over the place, and she had a really good time. And sort of it started this whole issue of what do we do with him? And he had people taking care of him at home, but because of the dementia, if he didn't get along with somebody, he would call the police, stuff like that. So we took him to the old age home, and now he's not there anymore because the daughter, my husband's sister, decided that it wasn't good enough and she's going to take care of him. So not easy. It's not easy. At the same time, my mother-in-law went to check out assisted living in a very pricey place. We don't know if she can afford it. But she's having the time of her life there. She's like, it's so nice here, and it's a very religious place. She's really strong into religion, so she loves that, and she's making friends, and she has activities, and it's just she has a beautiful room. And how long is she there for? She's there now for it's her second week of tryout. Oh, okay. So we're dealing with how do we make this happen, right. And to help her, really, I think she'll move there. I think that's what's going to happen eventually. I don't know. Right. There's a lot of I don't know in this situation. So I sometimes think about the Golden Girls, that my
Right.
grandma, that my mother-in-law, that she could definitely fit in like in a group of women that live together, because she's totally, you know, she does everything still, and her mind's okay, everything's okay with her, and she can totally fit in like a group of women. But it's a very, you know, I don't know of any groups like that,
Right.
that roomies of that age, you know, we tend to think that roomies is only when you're like
16, 17, 18,
yeah,
19.
post-teenager,
yeah.
student in college or whatever, so then you have to.
Right.
But I think it's a great idea. I think it really has a charm,
I like it. I like it so much. It is.
because if you're doing okay on your own, so why not?
Right.
Why not find your shutafot, find your
And it's not like they you know, they shared a house, but they each had their own life.
right.
And they each, and I also think it's very beautiful that they brought in Dorothy's mother to live with them also.
Yeah.
She was still sharp as a tack. Her tongue was sharp as a tack. I love that. That woman, it was so awesome. Awesome. I liked her humor more than I liked Dorothy's. Dorothy was very like, very pessimistic at times. Like very, her humor was very cynical, but her mother, Sophie was her name?
Sophia, yeah.
I love that name. Oh, kudos to my daughter. Her humor was just bang, bang, and it was because she's this, you know, sweet little 9-year-old lady. She can get away with saying whatever she wants.
Yeah.
And there's
they all, I think, like speak their mind, definitely.
Mhm.
Rose, who's like, it's not nice to say dumb, but
she died recently.
Yeah.
And she was like
such a
90-something years
lovable
old.
character.
She was
like, just want to hug her.
like Tuma, like that. That's how I discovered like
very innocent.
How do you say
about the
Tuma?
word innocent?
Innocent?
I don't know.
But yeah.
Yeah, some kind of issue. Like every issue is like a surprise to her, and it's like, you know, she has the way of things. Of course, you say like, you know, this is fiction. It can't be true that there's a place like Saint Olaf.
Saint Olaf.
Story.
It always reminded me of where like where Santa's reindeer came. I don't know. There was something about that place. It's just always like, oh, this is where they keep the reindeer. Who did you like the best? Which character do you relate to?
Well, I think during menopause,
okay,
I think Blanche. I have to say, because like she's very feminine, very connected to her sexuality, and you know, I think that's a place that I want to be more like her in some sense, you know, more sensual, more feminine, and not being afraid of that, you know, because we like growing up as a religious woman, who talked to you about sexuality? No. You know, nada. Even my parents, like, what kind of advice I got on my wedding day, like, keep clean underwear, stuff like that, you know. Your parents waited until your wedding day to tell you that? Yeah. Something like that. How old were you when you got married? I was 24. They waited until you were 24? I think so. You know, maybe it was early I got that. I don't remember, but like I didn't get, you know, except I also remember my mom telling me, always tell him you love him. Doesn't matter what you feel, just tell him you love him. I didn't understand that. I didn't accept it either. I'm like, well, if I'm really mad at him, I won't tell him I love him. You know, it's not true at this moment.
At this moment, right. Interesting. I think that there's like, you know, we have separate pools here and separate swim. And the first time I saw it, and I experienced it because I grew up mixed, you know, and the first time I experienced that, it was a very freeing thing because it was, oh, okay, so there is a place for sexuality, and I don't have to worry about who's looking at me or who I'm looking at. I think that was a very freeing thing, and yeah, you're right, Blanche. I think she overkills it.
Yeah, of course.
Like way overkill. I think she also. Do you ever read the play A Streetcar Named Desire?
No.
It was, the main character was Blanche, and she was this older lady, and she was with the outset of dementia, and she was from the South, and her famous line was something like, I've always relied on the kindness of strangers. And she says it with this line, I've always relied on the kindness of strangers, you know. And I always felt that Blanche, the character, was based on Blanche, the person, the character in The Streetcar Named Desire. And there's a lot of like parallel lines there. But she just wants somebody to, like a man, to take care of her and to, you know, she'll do the feminine stuff, but she wants man to, you know, to take care of her. Whereas Dorothy is more like, I can do it myself, you know, like the tough and rough. Let's talk about, you know, us getting older. We started speaking about like the wheel changing. Yeah. There's also like, you know, not just seeing our parents get older,
like the memory definitely being shot a little bit. I feel that. Yeah, I have trouble like recalling last names of people.
Oh, I don't think that has anything to do with age. With me. Nope. God help me when I get old and see that.
Probably, I don't know, but so I experience it like memory wise. I experience it menopause. I experienced big time. Now I feel like I'm okay. I'm like sort of in a stage where I don't know what's gonna come, but like the heat flashes, that was horrible.
You're scaring me.
That was really horrible, but they're over now.
How long did you go for?
A couple of months.
Oh my God.
It was really nasty, but I found out what was good for me, like to do less sugar, and I found like something that I take that makes me feel great.
Awesome.
But one of the things that I saw growing older is that definitely I felt like this power in me.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love
that. I'm empowered, that I have like more of a backbone, that more I state my mind. Yeah, and also I did stuff that I didn't believe that I would do, you know. I didn't believe that I would get all involved with my father-in-law. I was sort of detached. Okay, you make your own decisions, you do this, you do that. It doesn't matter how I feel about it. But I think like going through menopause, going through getting older and understanding that it's sort of like I have nothing to lose. The kind of attitude is like, I don't give about whatever people think about me. I'm going to do what I think is right.
Right.
So it's kind of a fighty
I like that. I like
thing
that.
And I fought to have my mother-in-law released from taking care of her husband because she's 82. She can't take care of her husband of 92. Doesn't make any sense in the world. And at least I achieved that, you know, and I'm very proud of myself that I fought for it, that I, you know, I didn't take any evasions or no for an answer. I just did it. Called my mother-in-law. I said, Buzz is coming to take you and you're coming here. And that sort of like ended an era.
Right.
And it forced the whole system to deal with their father. Right. And so I'm very proud of that. I'm very happy with that.
You should be.
And I think that growing older is also learning to accept things that you can't change. I mean, fighting for the things that you can change, but also accepting things you can't change. Like the wrinkles that are forming on my face, I cannot change them right now. I mean, maybe buttocks one day, but I don't feel like freezing my face.
Oh my God.
No, I don't like that. I don't like that. Maybe they'll have some kind of other solution.
Like cucumber
So far,
gel or
so
something.
far, laughter's doing really good for me.
I know, right?
Yeah, happiness really makes you younger.
It does when you laugh.
You know,
Yeah.
and I feel young from inside.
Yeah.
But I know someday, you know, I'll get the wrinkles, I'll get the white hair galore.
I've already got them.
I have some white hair.
I've already got them.
I'm in denial. But no, I mean all of it turning right. No, you know, not just a little bit here and there.
I like what scares me about menopause is the mood swings. I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm really like,
yeah.
I'm really scared about that because I know when I'm not balanced, oh my God, everybody run for cover because
Right.
I can be nasty.
Right.
And that's not
I got
nice.
depressed.
Really?
I actually got depressed for a while.
Wow.
It was really, really rough on me. And as a mentor for happiness, being depressed is not not a nice place to be in. But on the other hand, you know, I knew that this was something that's happening to me. I knew it wasn't me.
Right.
Okay, so it's like it's my hormones. It's not me. And that helped. That actually helped. You know, to reframe it, to look at it, because a lot of times when a person feels depressed, they also feel like ashamed. Why am I depressed? How could it be?
And lonely.
And lonely and something that you can't deal with. But I got also, I shared it with my family. I told them, this is how I'm feeling, and I need to visit the beach more, and I need to and also I knew it's not here to stay. I know it's just a phase. I didn't know how long it would take. But that's also something to keep in mind when you're going through a rough stage, that it's just a stage. It's just like a wave and on the sea.
I visited my grandmother recently in Toronto. And before this, everybody was like, you know, why are you going? She's got dementia and she's not going to recognize you. And it was like an emotional trigger. Like, I know I'm doing the right thing.
Right.
And, you know, you're telling me not to go. Like, there's no reason to go. And I went. And I don't know if you've seen this with your father-in-law, but the first night, my grandmother's at a stage where she does not recognize anybody really. She doesn't really talk. She sometimes makes forms of communication. The first night I was there with my aunt, and my aunt says to her, I know that Tova's here. And she says, I know. And she says, Tova. And then she said, I love you. And my heart just burst. Like it just like burst from happiness.
Right.
You know, and on subsequent visits, there was nothing. Sometimes there was like this, you know, flicker of recognition, or sometimes she would say something that was related to me or to my family. But when there was no recognition, my heart broke. And I did not realize how much my heart could sink. I mean, she's my grandmother, and I haven't seen her in 15 years, and whatever, like all the emotional stuff. But you know, it's okay, fine. Like, you're getting older, and it's, you know, and I did not realize how many pieces my heart could break. And every time there was like that flicker of recognition, my hair would be like, yes, yes. Does your father-in-law still recognize people?
Yeah, mostly. One of the things we do is everybody comes to visit. We introduce ourselves, and we put it into context, you know. So most of us, you know, he still recognizes. There's a lot of his personality still there. There's a lot of it going okay. Yeah. But dementia has its way, you know. So there's a lot of unrealistic thinking. And you know, you find it funny on one hand and sad on the other one, because he's like, I don't need any care. I can do it all by myself. And like, no, you can't. And we don't realize how our perception of reality and our thinking process, we just take it for granted that we're okay. You know?
Okay is relative, though. I mean,
yeah, but mainly okay.
Right,
you know,
right.
good enough to go to handle whatever.
As we get older, you know, like there's gonna be that debate, home care by yourself versus a metapelet or like a foreign worker, or an old age home.
Yeah.
You mentioned in one of the previous episodes in The Simpsons when we were talking about it that you would want to be in an old age home.
I would like to go like to assisted living pretty early on.
Okay.
You know, to have friends, to enjoy the place, you know, before my whole body disintegrates. And I think people who go like relatively young enjoy it very much, you know. My Bubby, she had a great time in the assisted living in Beersheba.
Where in
yeah. She had a really good time there. She made friends, she did exercise, she went to lessons, she, you know, as she got older, she had somebody to assist her in her home. But definitely it was so good for her because also she could take the long walks wherever she wanted. She loved walking. And it was really good for her. I'm really pro. I think being home alone, basically alone, I mean, you have somebody who's a caregiver, but still, it's like you really miss out on the social part. And the social part gives you so much strength.
That's interesting what you're saying.
But you know, other people are entitled to think otherwise, that maybe it's better not to be around old people all the time. You know, my mother, we went to a few assisted living places, and she says, everybody's old here. And I'm like, did you look at yourself?
Look at the mirror.
But we don't perceive ourselves as old. It doesn't matter what the mirror tells us.
No.
From inside, we're this youthful creature.
Right. There's something called a biological age. So what do you think your biological, what's your real age, if you don't mind telling everybody? And what do you think is your biological age?
Okay, so my real age is 54. And I think I'm somewhere in my teens. I mean, mentally, but not with being a teenager. I mean, not that, but youthfully.
Right,
speaking,
okay.
I think I have the youthfulness of like maybe a child or a teenager or a preteen or whatever.
Ooh, fun.
Because I'm very connected to that. Actually, yesterday in a trauma training, I studied a new way to treat people with trauma.
Okay.
And we talked about when you refer to yourself, when you think about yourself, what age is that self that you refer to? And that was really interesting because if you talk about me, if you talk about yourself, if you talk about something that was done to me, it's all different. It could be all different ages.
Oh, okay.
Places.
I like that.
And then one of the things that we do therapeutically is bring you up to date, that you should really be your here and now, and not stuck in an age. And one of the ages I was stuck in was 2.5. I don't think that really benefits me mentally.
Right. So I'm 46. And I always say that I'm 21, but I think I've aged. Like I don't feel. I mean, I'm tired. Like I don't have that energy anymore. I'm not. There is that, you know. I don't give a, you know, about anybody or anything. I'll do what I want, which wasn't there, and that comfort with me that wasn't there. But I think I'm tired.
Okay. Okay, that's good.
I think I'm just like, I'm excited.
So you feel like your own age right now?
No.
So what biological age would you give yourself?
Maybe like 25, 26.
Okay.
but like not 25, 26 as I was.
Right, definitely not. We're not
Because-
going back.
No. But like when you're that age, you know, you're raising kids and you're having a family and you're so not doing that again.
Right.
You know,
right.
like it's funny because when my grandchildren come to visit, so I have to the family grew as the kids grew, the family grew. So we're not at that stage anymore of
Right.
little kids in diapers and all of a sudden they come to visit and it's like, huh? Like, you know, like how do you change diaper? Like oh you wanna eat something? Like hold on, there's that time that we are 25 minutes, but we can keep going. We're having a good time. So it was just like going back to that stage. No, you know, like we've gone up, we've raised up. So I guess 25 without, you know, thank you God I have my children and then everybody's healthy and
Without the 25 baggage.
yes, love it, yes. Although, I mean, as I hit 50, as I'm 50 is like looming closer to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so then looking back, you know,
Yeah.
the first 50 years were good, but it was just a preparation of what's going to come.
Right.
And there's like a certain feeling of like excitement of what's going to come. It's not like, oh, I'm getting older and whatever.
That's right.
It's like, ooh,
Yeah.
the first 50 years were a preparation for the next 50. And God help anybody that gets in my way. Stand clear.
Yeah. I think in this day and age, we can really live a good life. And it's possible. And we've done so much work with ourselves to this point to live a good life, you know, as young mothers, as older mothers, as raising teens, as going through our own things with our body and our souls and everything. And I think that's something that's going to go with us, you know, and I think it's a really true gift of this day and age that people have the awareness and they don't feel like they're
Sacrifices.
Sacrificed by society or other people, and people, you know, learn to take their life into their hands and practice being positive about life,
like that.
practice, you know, happiness, and make the change before they turn really old and cranky. You know, you don't have to be old and cranky. You can be old and happy.
Love it. Love it.
So that's anyway my hope and desire.
Amen for everybody.
We be old and happy.
Yes, and happy in like also know who I am. Like I think that having dementia would just be. We've talked about this off camera that sometimes our loved ones, those with dementia, those with depression, they think that because I have or I am, it gives me the right to say whatever I want. And I think that's what we should leave with, a tip on our tip to our audience.
Okay.
About going through, you know, being older and going through dementia or going through whatever. Do you want to say it?
Okay. I think about, you know, I think this is something that can even younger people can relate to. It's about speaking up your mind and not hurting other people. So first of all, you should know that whatever you feel like saying, it's okay. You know, not everybody is going to agree with you. That's something that's, you have to tell yourself, I have a right to say whatever's on my mind, even if people don't agree with me. That's okay. Or like what I say. But if I don't want to offend other people, the way to speak about something is to talk about myself. I'm only about myself. You know, there's a situation, there's like a bunch of dishes and they were waiting for me last night. And when I came back home, after 2 days of not being at home, while seeing those dishes, I'm like, so I could say that you're not okay that you didn't do the dishes. Who was supposed to do the dishes and get really upset about them, or say that, wow, I'm so tired. seeing these dishes really made me feel bad. I don't feel like doing them. Whatever, saying everything I have to say about it. And nobody will be offended because I'm just talking about myself.
Did the dishes get done in the end?
No, they're still waiting. You know, but I'm definitely saying it, you know, you speak your mind, you know that it's okay for people to say they think otherwise, to say no to your idea, you know, nobody has to accept what you think. That's something that we have to like internalize and understand that, because a lot of times we're like, oh, I'm so right, I know the truth, you know, but your truth is not somebody else's truth. And so that's
Totally.
my tip of the day. What's your tip?
I'm just going to add to that and just say that, you know, just because you have dementia or depression or whatever, or just because you're Tova Goldman,
Okay.
does not give you the right to say things that are offensive.
Right.
Like you can't use that as a depression, as an excuse to say, oh, okay, I'm going through a rough patch now, so I can say whatever the heck I want. You know, that's not cool.
Right.
So I think that's just going to be my addition to your tip.
Yeah.
So we have reached the end of another episode of the Shmooze. Yeah. I think this one was really heavy, and it was good to just release a lot.
Yeah, we
of
didn't
it.
talk a lot about the show. We talked more about ourselves. But it's
We
like
can
the
do another
show is a
episode.
trigger.
Yes.
But we definitely encourage you. You know, what I've been doing with the Golden Girls is like when I have to drive and I'm really tired, I put them on and I just laugh the whole way. And it's great humor.
Yeah.
The show is done so wonderfully. It's written beautifully. And the characters are just each and every one of them.
And they bounce off each other beautifully also.
Yeah. It's an awesome show. I don't know how it happened that we saw it as kids. I mean, it's definitely an adult show.
Right? And we're going through this as adults. A lot of these shows we're going through, shows that we watched as kids, and you're going, what were my parents thinking, allowing us to watch this? But maybe we've become more sensitive and like more sensitive.
We didn't know what they were talking about when they talked about sex. I had no idea what they were talking about, you know?
And then years later you could watch it and you're going,
oh my God.
I think that one more thing, they were actively, they did go out on dates and they were active, you know, sexually. I think it shows like a certain positive point that, you know, okay, so you get older, it doesn't mean that, you know, your life has to stop.
Right, even when your husband dies, like Rose, that it's something she deals with, and you know, they all have like a life, and we should all have a life.
Amen. Amen. That's the end of the Shmooze.
So like us and comment and be part of this community of schmoozing and having a really, really good life.
And a good time. And we will see you next week.
Bye.